Rodeo is in full swing here in Alberta. We've got pro rodeos, amateur rodeos, like everything is going on, and depending on what association you're in or what your goals are with your rodeo season, this may or may not be kind of like the halfway point in your season. But regardless, if you're rodeoing, you're probably rodeoing a lot. And one of the questions that comes up is, should I be working out regularly? Should I be following an exercise program when I'm rodeoing this hard? Like, is that gonna hurt me or is that gonna help me? And yeah, let's talk about it. So I think that one of the reasons why rodeo athletes might be concerned about exercising when they're rodeoing really hard is it seems like a lot, and it definitely can be. There's definitely the risk you can run of rodeoing really hard and then forcing yourself to exercise a lot on a consistent basis, and it's just a recipe for burnout, right? So there's definitely this fine line that we want to ride between overdoing it and doing enough to where it's actually helping us, right? So there's definitely that to be aware of. And I will just say, getting the help of a certified personal trainer or something like that is really, really helpful, because they'll be able to guide you into like, okay, this is sufficient for maintaining your fitness, getting you through the rodeo season, hopefully injury free, and not like burning yourself out, getting yourself over fatigued and potentially causing injury. So there's definitely a place here for some sort of certified fitness coach. So definitely consider that. But like I said, I'm not going to hold you guys in suspense. You should be working out during rodeo season. Even if you are rodeoing a lot, you're traveling a lot, you've got a lot on the go, there is a place for exercising. So definitely do not want to cut it out completely, because that can be a recipe for losing strength and just losing all the conditioning that you might have built up during the off season. We don't want that to happen. Best case scenario this time of year is that you're going to maintain your level of fitness and allow it to carry you through the rest of rodeo season, fingers crossed, injury free. So we know that we want to work out. The question is, what does that look like, right? So I want you guys to kind of approach your entire year from the way athletes in other sports would. So athletes typically have an off season, and then there's the period like leading up to their competitive season. They have their competitive season, then they might take some time off after that's done, and then back into an off season. And I know some rodeo athletes, if you're in the warmer climates down south, you're probably potentially rodeoing all year long. But for most of us, we do have the ability to structure our year like that, where in the off season you would be pushing yourself harder. So for me personally, I would be in the winter doing a lot more workouts where I'm really pushing to failure. I'm really trying to push my strength, see how strong I can get, doing a lot more leg workouts in the off season. And then as we get into summer, where I'm riding significantly more and I need that energy for my riding, that's when I taper it back to a level where I'm maintaining the fitness that I developed in that off season, and ideally maintaining that through the entirety of the competitive season before wrapping up again in the fall. So really taking a look at like, how can I periodize this throughout the year so that I can utilize the off season to build as much strength and conditioning, whatever you need for your particular sport, building up as much of that in the off season. And then once you get to a heavy rodeo season, you can significantly scale back what you were doing to just maintain where you're at. And that's another thing. Some people, I feel like this wrong way of thinking that like it requires a lot to maintain fitness once you've acquired it, but actually once you've done the literal and figurative heavy lifting, it does not take much to maintain your fitness. Yes, you'll lose a little bit, but like any muscle that you've built, any strength that you've built can easily be maintained once you've achieved it. So I know we're in the thick rodeo season now, so this is kind of maybe just some food for thought going forward for next year, but really trying to structure it where you're periodizing your workouts over like a full year cycle is definitely something that I would recommend. The next thing that I want you guys to focus on is, and this is not sexy, but it's required, rest and recovery. So if you're a bronc rider, rough stock rider, whatever, potentially even a barrel racer, there might be a ride where you got particularly beat up and you just feel sore. Like maybe it is a good idea to skip your strength training workout, maybe just go for a walk or something like that, do something a little bit less intense. And then there might be some days where you're just exhausted. Do not force yourself to work out if you're exhausted. If you are short on sleep because you were driving all night, working out is not your priority. Resting is your priority. We really want to, like, if we're looking at this as like a pyramid, rest, recovery, all that sort of a thing, proper nutrition, those are like the big blocks. And then as you get further up, then it's like exercise, mobility, all those sorts of things, right? Rest, recovery is key. So if it's possible, getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, I know that's not always possible. Implement naps if you need to. Making sure that you're not exercising the same muscle groups on consecutive days, giving them enough time to recuperate from your workout or from your ride before going at it again. And yeah, just if there's any recovery modalities that you like, do those things. If you like doing yoga, if you like doing mobility stuff, if you like going in like a hot tub or getting massages, I know lots of this it's hard to fit in if you're really busy with rodeo, but like find something that you can do to just help your body recover. And like sleep is the king of recovery, obviously, so really prioritizing sleep as much as you can during this time is huge. The next thing is just like adaptability, flexibility, balance, I guess you want to call it. So obviously, if you're on the road rodeoing, you may or may not have access to a commercial gym all the time. In fact, it's likely that you do not have access to a commercial gym. And that's where things like exercise bands and that bodyweight workouts are really great. There's a ton of resources on the web right now because of COVID, when everyone was working from home, for resistance bands, band workouts, at-home workouts that are really good for if you're on the road, if you're living out of a horse trailer. So definitely acknowledging that your workouts may not look the same in the off season as they do now when you're rodeoing really hard, and that's okay. Like those workouts can be just as effective as a commercial gym workout or a workout with heavy weights and that sort of thing. It's different, but it can be effective. So just acknowledging that, and then also just implementing flexibility and doing what you can where you're at the time. So if you can't do a strength training workout, consider going for a walk, or if you like to jog, go jog. Hand walking your horse, great. That is great. Do that as often as you can. And just, if you're not able to do it at the same time every day, that is fine. Like, we're just trying to get through rodeo season at this point. So it's a matter of like, do what you can given the circumstances, and just whatever. The rest is fine. It'll get itself sorted out. Like I said, we're not trying to make any gains at this point. We're just trying to kind of maintain what we have and be able to stay injury-free as much as possible. And doing that actually does not take as much as some people would think. So again, don't sweat the small stuff. Do what you can and you're good. I promise. So as I said, rest, recovery is really important. The other thing that is really important is nutrition. So if you are going to manage a full rodeo schedule along with working out regularly, that's a lot on your body. And so you really need to be focusing on nutrition. Nutrition is going to pull you through. If you are not eating enough calories, if you're not eating enough protein, if you're not eating enough carbs, if you're not eating enough fat, if you're not hydrating properly, all of your work is going to be for nothing because your body is just going to deteriorate. And trust me, I know this from experience. So yes, one, eating enough calories. We do not need to be in a fat loss phase right now. I will repeat that. We do not need to be in a fat loss phase right now. You need to be like I said, and I feel like I'll repeat this more. We're maintaining this time of year. You've got a lot on the go. It's not time for making any huge gains one way or the other. So we want to maintain our weight by eating enough calories. We want to be making sure we're eating enough protein. So any of our muscles that are getting broken down from our competitive endeavors or from working out are getting repaired. Carbohydrates are so that we have energy, because Lord knows rodeoing takes a lot of energy. And then also not neglecting fat, because our body runs on fat. Our hormones need fat, our brain needs fat. So do not neglect fat. Eat an avocado once in a while, eat some peanut butter. It is all good. And then of course on top of that also hydration. So it is summer in a lot of locations where there's rodeos. It is hot. You sweat like a pig when you're wearing Western attire and a black cowboy hat. That's a side note. I really need to buy a straw hat. But hydrating, and that is not just drinking water. You also need to be considering electrolytes. So whether you're drinking a Gatorade or something like that, or taking a supplement like Element, that is going to help you truly hydrate. Whereas if you're just drinking water, it's likely it's just going to run right through you and not actually hydrate your cells. So really taking a good look at nutrition, and also making sure that you're eating a wide variety of whole foods. And again, I know this is difficult on the road, but it's going to allow you to perform at your very best. So I don't know, grab some bananas, apples, those travel well, right? And I feel like things are more convenient than they've ever been. So really, there is no excuse for not eating healthy. Like if you need to hire a meal prep service and keep them in a freezer or a cooler, like do what you need to do. But like this needs to take priority because it does make a difference. And if you're one of those competitors who has like finals goals, you really need to be taking this into account. I think, you know, we make our horses all slick and shiny by feeding them the best things, and then we're just kind of an afterthought, where I'm really encouraging you to change that way of thinking and really hone in on your nutrition. And again, this is where hiring some sort of registered dietitian is not a bad idea. So yes, at the end of the day, yes, you can exercise while rodeoing really hard, and you should exercise while rodeoing really hard, but you just need to don't be an idiot about it. You need to be smart about it. And again, getting the help of a personal trainer, a nutritionist, a registered dietitian, whatever you feel is needed for your situation, definitely do that. Definitely monitor progress. If you're starting to feel really lethargic, if you're starting to feel sore all the time, if your performance is deteriorating, like take a step back and be like, okay, what do I need to change here? Am I eating enough? Am I sleeping enough? Am I working out too hard? Am I not getting in enough movement? Because that's another thing, sitting in a truck all the time it's really easy to get like 500 steps a day, which I get it. Some days it is what it is, but trying to get out, get some movement. Walking is so underrated. So, you know, if that's all you can do in a day, like definitely get out and do a few laps around the rodeo arena, the rodeo grounds, whatever you need to do. Definitely try and do that, because you might feel like really crummy and you don't want to move, but a walk can do so much for your mind and for your body, and ultimately for your performance in the arena, which at the end of the day, that is what we care about, right? So yes, definitely work out this time of year. I really encourage you guys to work out. If you have any questions about this, be sure to reach out to me on Instagram or put them in the comments. On Instagram, I am @StrongInTheSaddle, and until next time, remember, it's always a good day to ride.